Welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is React.js full tutorial series for absolute beginners. Today's episode is extremely important, I would say the backbone itself of learning React, which is to add the handling of events, right? I know that none of the real practical example what you'll be building will be incomplete without any events. Events are nothing but, let's say, on click, on mouse over, on form submit, on change, on select, etc., etc., etc. So any practical real-time application that you will work will involve handling of events. Today we are going to learn all about it. I'll show you different variations of how it can happen. In the next episode we will talk about how to handle callback events from child to parent, because events and props, we know that they are unidirectional because they only flow from parent to child, but there is a way to work around and send data back to parent from child using a callback. That is in the next episode. Today we are learning how to handle events. This is part 19 of the series, extremely important topic. So are the first 18 episodes. I think if you have missed them, you have missed quite a deal. Please make sure that you go back and check out the series and the entire playlist in order to learn and master React. Alright, so events. In JSX, we can attach event handlers to DOM elements, right? By using camel case like on, click, on, change. Remember, these are camel case, which means on, mouse over will have M capital, O capital. Okay, like this. On submit, on change. These are the common events that are even required on most of the many of the websites applications, like on click, on change, on submit, on mouse over, etc., etc. These are same. If you are coming from JavaScript world, you will know that we attach events. These are the same. You can think of it exactly same. We can pass arguments, right, to the event handlers and using arrow function, and we can handle all of that. So just like how you pass parameters to methods, functions, you can pass them to events also. Event handlers will receive an event object as the first parameter. That means we can get the details of the event also. I'm going to show you that also in the hands-on. We can prevent the default behavior by doing something like event.prevent default, right? So a lot of times a lot of elements in the page will have some default behavior. Let's say form has a submit behavior, uh, etc., etc., right? So those are the default behaviors. We can prevent them by customizing that. So this is all the theory that you should know about handling events. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to help you. Let's start with the hands-on. All right, so let's do one thing first. I'm going to make some notes for this episode because I think you will need that. So today we are in episode 19. We are learning handling events. Okay, so remember, these are same as JavaScript events. Okay, these events, the events in React that we write, it's in React application, are same as the JavaScript events. Okay, now these can take parameters. The events, event calling, uh, instead I'll write parameters can be passed to the event, the events. Then remember, there are two ways to pass, to handle, or to implement events. Okay, one is we can use or we can refer the event or function in the parent component. Okay, the event handler basically. Okay, the event handler can be in the parent component, or the event handler can be in the child component. Okay, these are the two ways where you can plant the events. Okay, I'm going to show you the variations, and we can also will also do some hands-on activity. We can prevent default behavior. array using event dot prevent default. Okay, that's all the theory that you should know about events. So let's go ahead. Just like how we passed props, you see here active, is-admin, etc. Same way we can pass on click equal to, we can pass value. Okay, this, so this is a component. It won't do anything with on click, right? But we are passing an on click event to it. So for that, let's go ahead and write a function in the parent. This is a parent component, the parent component. So here I'm going to write constant handle, or I'll say handle event. Okay, and inside this I'm just going to do a console log and say parent component event handler. Very important to understand the logic. Okay, so here on click we can now use the same way how we have used here to pass the value of the prop. Same way we can pass the method itself. So see, right now if you see here, this is my method, right? I'm function that I'm passing as a value to this on click, but this won't do anything yet because it's just nothing, right? We need to implement this as a prop in our child component. So let's go to bank component, and here we have the props that we are passing. So what we can do is, let's just put a button irrespective of whether what details are there. I'm just putting a button on click. Here I'm going to bind that value. I'll say props dot on click. Uh, Click. Okay, so now see, from the parent component we are passing the event handler, right? What should happen when user clicks on this, and in the child component I've implemented a button on click, the same thing what is on click. So now what will be called? The parent component function. Okay, this will be called, let me show you that in the action. I'll go to my application, we will see these two. Now inspect element, clear console. Now I click on this. Now see here it says parent component event handler, because we are passing it from the parent to the child, right? But here it will not work. See, it is still 6. It will not increment. But when I click here, it will increment because we are passing that in the props, right, for on click. So what we are learning now is a very important concept, which is when we pass events, we can pass events and their values from the parent as props. Okay, this is one way, like I showed you. This is the first way I just showed you, right? But now a component itself can have some methods. Okay, let me write a method, and inside the bank component I'm writing child event handler equal to, okay, so console log child event handler. Okay, so now I have my child event handler. Now I can have a button instead of this props. I can just have child event handler. Now what will this be referring? When I click on it, it will call a child method which is inside this component itself. So let's see that. Now I click on it, it says child event handler. Now see, I click this one, it is still incrementing, right? So that means both of them are calling the events or the functions which are in the child component. Okay, so those are the two important implementations. One, you will handle the events, and that event handler is written in the child component. That means what should happen when I click, that is implemented in the child component. The other way, from the parent itself we can send and say which function it should handle. Okay, but both of these, like if you notice important, we are passing prop as a, we are passing event as a prop. Okay, now remember this is passing events is a unidirectional, which means from parent to child component. Okay, very important concept this is. But there is a way that you can send data from child to parent. Okay, but that would require us to do a send a event handler and implement a callback which will update that handler back. Okay, so that is what I'm going to show you in the next episode. I hope this topic is clear. If not, please go through it again. If required, go multiple times, because this is a very important concept. As we start building real-time application functions, components, you will see these code a lot, and it's important for you to understand how this is all connected. Right, I hope it's clear. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode. We'll cover callback from child to parent component. Thank you.